What's up guys, hope you are safe and excited for the next entry into the special event of this month. Just in case you haven't checked out the previous entries, in the special event I'm going to look at movies that have a specific subject or genre, and this month is World War II month. I checked out a movie with aerial battle, one with naval, and for the third I'm going to review a movie that shows a political battle in the war. I'm Valentin Wright, the movie guy, and this is my review for Darkest Hour. If you enjoy, please press that like button and subscribe. The movie starts with the opposition Labour Party asking for the Prime Minister's resignation, which is what happens, and now a new candidate has to be found, with the appointment of Winston Churchill imminent. It's a tough period for the appointment that Winston has been waiting for all of his life, coming in at a time of war, but he will give everything that he has in order to succeed. The movie is a political drama, so no real war action can be seen in this movie. The action comes from seeing what happened behind the scenes, and it actually kept me engaged. The dialogue is so good that it keeps you in a trance. My favorite quote from this one is, "My father was like God, busy elsewhere." The movie also has some comedy into it, and it works perfectly because it's something that you wouldn't expect from Winston. Sometimes it's unintentional humor, like accidentally showing Mrs. Lawton his, let's call it English package, but he also has sarcastic responses. Winston Churchill is a tough man to like. He's very hot-headed, he's supported by the opposition and that's why he gets the job, but the king didn't actually want him. He doubted his ability, which is something that the movies from this special event have had in common. Besides the thematic, all the protagonists' ability is doubted by others. It wasn't intentional, but it actually works out pretty well, I think. The music is just perfect. You mostly hear sounds from a string quartet and they accompany the scenes very well. This is one gorgeous movie to look at. You can see the light coming through the windows and the production is also excellent, which is something that a lot of fuss was made about and it is all deserved. It's fantastic. The makeup of Gary Oldman, the decorum, the outfits, they're all incredible. It actually won an Oscar for the makeup. I'm just really impressed with the attention to detail. I guess that the only negative that I can find is that Mrs. Lawton, Churchill's secretary, didn't really have a huge impact on the story, but they tried to make her a big deal. She was writing his speeches, she sometimes lip syncs them. I think even the writer recognized this, and that's why he had an entire fictional plot point of her brother dying in Dunkirk. Plus, the movie is set in 1940 and she wasn't hired until 1941. And there are other historical inaccuracies. There is an important scene for the character of Churchill where he goes on the underground and tries to inspire the people to keep on fighting, and there is no evidence of that happening. Also, Chamberlain and Halifax weren't planning an imminent vote of no confidence, and many other historical inaccuracies. The cast did a phenomenal job of making you feel like you're watching reality. It's something that newer movies do a better job at than older movies, but it still needs to be pointed out. Ben Mendelsohn is very good as King George. My brother and I really like him as an actor, but I would have loved to see more of him. Kristen Scott Thomas also brings the character of Churchill's wife Clemmy to life. I saw her in Bellamy, but she didn't really stand out. In this one though, she shines pretty bright. But how could the standout performer not be the man that won an Oscar for his performance? Gary Oldman steals the show as Mr. Churchill. Unbelievable how much of a chameleon actor this guy can be. Fantastic British accent and change in tempo of speech. And one thing that I'm absolutely amazed by is the fact that he acts old. Churchill was 66 in 1940 when the movie is set in, and Oldman was 59 when he made this movie. So that's 7 years difference, and you can really tell it. My favorite scene was the first speech that we see Churchill present. It's a nice little collage of the work that has been put into the speech. The lighting again was great. Gary's delivery really impressed me because Winston Churchill was actually one of the best at delivering speeches, and I think that Gary Oldman showed that the character has that attribute. I love this movie. I wasn't expecting it to be so good and keep me engaged for its entire runtime. Even if the movie was bad, it deserved to be watched only for Gary Oldman's performance, but luckily, it isn't. This next movie is more complimentary than alternative. I choose Dunkirk. It's about how the British armies were saved by civilian boats, and it's actually a pretty big plot point in Darkest Hour. So my rating for Darkest Hour is 4.5 stars.